So, this is kind of a ad hoc episode of Convention Tea, and I just couldn't get my eyes off this dumpster fire that is AniManga. And we'll talk more about AniManga. Well, the whole thing's about AniManga. But first, a word from our sponsors. Magic Candle Company. Magic Candle Company, save 15% when you use our code EAT15 at checkout. Love Magic Candle Company. One of my favorite scents by them is Orleans, based off of the Port Orleans Hotel at Disney World. So highly recommend them for like unique candle scents. They even have Rome Burning. So if you cosplay as Nero from Fate, there's your scent, Rome Burning. We are also sponsored by YMAC Sweaters. If you use our code YMAC-Dame Asdball, get 40% off cute cardigans and more. We're also supported by Dragon Combat Club, because you don't need a JoJo to be a dojo. You can train in virtual self-defense on Zoom. Classes are free. Check them out. Also, AniMarketplace at the... Oh, hey! It is our friend from Vegas in the chat. And last but not least, AniMarketplace. There will be... AniMarketplace is a local event in Southern California, specifically the greater Los Angeles area, happening at the Japanese American Cultural Center in Little Tokyo. This is downtown LA. It's happening October 9th, and they are having their first in-person event, and I believe one of the reps from AniMarketplace will be in the chat tonight. So I've done AniMarketplace like a couple years ago. Before lockdown, I was able to do their swap meet, made a couple bucks out there, and you got some live performances, you got a cosplay contest, and plus you're also supporting the Japanese American Cultural Center, which I think is a great place to support too. And plus, you're in Little Tokyo, so not much to complain there. Alright, glug glug. Yeah, let's glug glug this because I like having some drinks while I present. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Miko-tan. Hope you're doing well. Alright, who am I? Well, I'm Dame Scarlet Asmal. I've been going to conventions since Anime Expo 1999. The next convention I'm going to is Otakon, so just full disclosure, even though I'm talking about a convention, a physical in-person convention that's happening during the pandemic, I am going to Otakon this weekend. I mainly, when Otakon mentioned that they were going to have their first in-person event, they were in a lot of hot water because this easily could be the last Otakon of the, like ever. But thankfully, it looks like 2022 is going to happen. So I just want to support the good people that run Otakon. They've been very kind to us, and we were under the impression that this would be the last one. But we just want to support like just good people, because I'm all about supporting good people. Alright, so I've been going to anime conventions, since 1999, first convention, Anime Expo. I've been going to conventions coast to coast. I don't only just do anime conventions, I also do pop culture conventions. I've also just kind of been leaning into the more, into like fashion communities. Been kind of curious to check out like Lolita J fashion theme cons. I know that's just definitely on my bucket list to like just fly to one of the larger J fashion cons. I know PMX out here used to be like the premier J fashion con, but they've been going into some different directions. I also cosplay. I'm an award-winning cosplayer. I guess if I were to rate my level, I'd be somewhere in between like intermediate and master level. Like these are just some of my recent cosplays. A Shinobu from Demon Slayer, Enterprise from Azur Lane, Sailor Mars is like one of my go-to cosplays, and I've made a ton Sailor Moon, Sailor Scout-ish cosplays. For the whole gamut, I've been cosplaying, and this is like the latest one I've like ever made, and this is how I look in real life. I dress very fancy, but I also like to add something very geeky to what I wear. Yes, pinky out. Alright, yes, I am going to Otakon this weekend. So full disclosure, again, I'm just going to when Otakon 2021 was announced, like I was okay. Unfortunately, because I've actually did talk about this on previous episodes of Convention Tea, that we were really worried that this would be their last year, because they were like in a sticky situation, that if 2021 didn't physically happen, this would be it for Otakon. So I was like, okay, I haven't gone to Otakon in years. This might be the last one, but let me go out and support them. But it looks like 2022 is happening. And I do appreciate the fact that Otakon has been sharing videos on how the Walter E. Convention Center staff has been cleaning and disinfecting areas of the convention center. Otakon is also having a mask policy, so generally all attendees are required to wear a mask unless, example, you're like in eating areas, so kind of like theme parks. Like, yeah, if you're in an eating area, this is where your designated place to eat. You don't have to have a mask on. And if you're doing like a social distance photo shoot, even though I was thinking about doing katana for Otakon, but like my katana plans kind of didn't go through. But yes, I will be at Otakon. These are my main cosplays, and I'm also throwing in Maria Takeuchi in the bunch because I need like my late night cosplay chill costume, and my chill costume is gonna be Maria Takeuchi. And where's Jay? Where's my partner in crime in all this? Well, he's also preparing for Otakon too, so this is his current mood as we're starting to prepare for Otakon. Alright, AniManga, let's talk. So, this is just basically this presentation, this live stream. I always call it presentation because that's just kind of like the world that I live in. So I have to get used to calling these things live streams. So, AniManga USA, let's talk. So, this con happened last weekend in Ontario, California. So, for those of you who are not local, we're talking about the Ontario in California. Not Ontario, Canada, where I can go grab poutine. Ontario, California. Where is Ontario? Ontario, if I were in Disneyland, it's about like an hour drive-ish east of Disneyland. It's more inland, and when things are much more inland, the hotter it gets. I was actually in Ontario the weekend before this con. I was there for a photo shoot. I was actually at Ontario-ish. I had to kind of do a pit stop to fill up my gas. But it gets really hot. The point is, desert heat gets pretty hot, and a nice view of the mountains, but super hot during the summer. And like even where I live in the Disneyland proper area, it was a scorcher. I was doing my errands wearing a sundress with no sleeves. I was going sleeveless, which is a rarity for me. So just kind of give me an idea where it's taking place, because context of where it is very important. The convention center is a medium-size-ish convention center. It's nothing too big. It's not like the LA Convention Center. It's not like the Heinz. It's about 2 stories. I went there for Comic-Con Revolution. So you have like your exhibitor space. You have like meeting rooms upstairs, meeting rooms downstairs. We'll get into that later. And it looks like there is a company that runs AniManga USA. And they have 3 different events, one in Ontario, California, Atlanta, Georgia, and Miami, Florida. And like, okay, I've actually seen event runners like have like different events across the country. And I have heard of AniManga before. It used to be at this like at the Pomona Fairplex. And Pomona Fairplex, that's usually where you have the LA County Fair. You would have various hot rod car shows. And it's meant to be more an exhibiting kind of space and just kind of like a place where you can like just go out, have food, display your cars. That's great for you, Tasha. I've been to the Pomona Fairplex when they had Anime Impulse there and Asian American Expo. So it's more of an open kind of area. It's not really what you would think a hotel con kind of is, but I usually didn't go to AniManga when I was at the Fairplex, because usually I'm still recovering from Anime Expo, and I'm just kind of going into the next event, because Anime Expo and Otakon in one summer, like, yeah, that takes a lot out of me, a lot of my finances, because those are my two major summer cons. If you want to throw Fanime in the mix, being a summer con because Memorial Day weekend rules, like, yeah, so you got like Otakon, Anime Expo, Otakon. Yeah, I could only do about 3 summer cons. Notice I didn't add in San Diego in there, because that would kick my butt. And also, this is important to know, this was on their FAQ. I screenshot this earlier today, because I was just kind of curious to read what their masking policies were and how they were responding to COVID. So, okay, let's read this out loud. COVID restrictions. Do I need to wear a mask to AniManga Ontario 2021? All attendees to AniManga will be required to wear a face covering while inside the venue. This policy applies to attendees, guests, artists, alley vendors, and exhibitors. All volunteers and AniManga staff will be required to wear a face covering. I'm vaccinated. Do I still need to wear a mask to AniManga Ontario 2021? Yes. Everyone attending AniManga must wear a face covering. To ensure a high level of health safety at our convention, we are requiring face coverings regardless of immunization status. This is the best way to reduce the spread of COVID when the public hasn't been fully informed. Are there capacity restrictions in place of AniManga Ontario 2021? Yes, the attendance at AniManga Ontario 2021 has been reduced to 5,000 attendees per day, which is less than 50% normal capacity. So keep these in mind. They say it's going to be at 50% capacity, and the first point being, like, yeah, everyone is required to mask up regardless. All right. All right, hey, let's see just people here in the chat. Hey, Anna Marketplace, I've been pretty good. We just gave you a shout out at the beginning of this live stream. We did consider tabling an AniManga this year, but we could not support the group. And yes, we'll go into those problematic tweets in a few. Mask required. What great timing in the days of Delta remastering, right? There'll be lines outside a con unless they have some sort of appointment-based entry. So this was something I found on Instagram, and this was being passed around. The reason why I didn't go to AniManga this year, because again, I was cost crunching for Otakon, and I just didn't really feel like just going out and about, and I just didn't really feel like going back to Ontario, like after being up in the Inland Empire after a weekend of shooting with airplanes, because that's my other hobby. I do a lot of pinup photo shoots, and sometimes I like to go to airplane graveyards and do lewds. Anywho, and prior to that, I knew there was something sketchy about AniManga. I remember like just seeing it on Facebook circulate, and I was like, okay, there was something that was circulating earlier. I don't know what it was, but I remember like the guy who was in charge of AniManga Ontario said something that I didn't like, but I couldn't remember what it was, because information in the geek culture of the internet just goes really fast. Like last week, hot topic was BlurredCon. This week, hot topic is this AniManga fiasco. So here's a tweet that the Instagrammer pulled up in their Instagram post, and I'll read this out loud. I'll call him Sally if he wants, but I won't refer to him as she, her. Yeah, not cool. Yeah, that's just not cool, considering that, at least just from my experience having attended anime conventions since 1999, I always felt that anime conventions were a cool place for LGBTQ youth to hang out and just find their people. I know I was one of those people when I was a kid, just kind of like just finding my own happy place within like social circles, like finding people my age who kind of felt like the same way as me. It's like, yeah, this attitude, this transphobic attitude coming in from a convention chair, yeah, that's upsetting. And like, hi, do you really do you like know your audience? You know, apparently he does not. And just a couple more of his tweets, and you can read them while I sip some tea here. Ice cold tea, green tea specifically. Yeah, so this guy, already not liking him. Let y'all read that while I sip some tea. You're tuning in to the stream for the first time. It's a tradition of me to drink tea, whether it be iced or hot, on the stream. Yeah, sounds like a cool stand-up guy, don't you think? And then, of course, AniManga USA's account has been blocking folks from their social medias for speaking out against it. I wouldn't be surprised if they block me once this goes up. I don't mind. But I remember seeing the series of tweets being circulated around Facebook, and then again, it's really easy to forget because information just comes so fast, especially like when you're in lockdown, and it's just so easy to forget. So one thing I took away out of this experience was just having a personal Excel sheet to myself, just listing cons that I don't attend and why I don't attend them, and I just kind of like linked to the resource, like, okay, that's the reason why I don't support this con. Because again, like, I don't know about you, but for me, I have a short-term memory, and sometimes just news just kind of like just replaces itself, and everything just goes really fast these days. Like, okay, so my tip to y'all is to just kind of like just keep a personal track. You don't have to make it shareable. Just for yourself and just for your reference only. These are cons or events I won't support, and this is why. Just so you remember. So yeah, they've been blocking folks from social media for speaking out and calling them out. And this was the tweet from an artist. Full disclaimer, I love their work. I've bought like a lot of their keychains. I'm a Love Live fan. If you've been tuning into my streams, you know how much I love Love Live. Love Live. Like I have an Ida bag of Nozomi for my laptop bag. It's awesome. She's awesome. So yeah, just disclaimer that this is an artist that I like legit like follow and like legit just totally support because I love Love Live and she makes some awesome stuff. And this was a tweet that they posted that went totally viral. Like on Friday, or was it Thursday, day 0, they posted like what Artist Alley was going to look like. And this is as they were setting up, and you just kind of see the tables all close together. And if you look at the chairs, like you have aisle 1, table row 1, table row 2, and you see those chairs backing up against each other. There's not a lot of room to back out. And plus, like, anytime I'm at Artist Alley, sometimes you have to have your like little storage space. Like sometimes stuffing things under a table isn't enough. Like, example, since I know Annie Marketplace is in here, like when I was vending at Annie Marketplace, I needed like a lot more room in the back just so I could store more of the costumes that I was selling, and also just kind of keep things, have like a little bit more storage space. So this was not a cool thing to do at all. Table update, still pretty cramped. Yeah, so you can see like they have like your standard table, and they're literally touching the tables next to them. This is a TikTok video that also went viral on Twitter. I only took a couple of screenshots of it. So when I was like looking at photos and some video from AniManga, they were showing that there was this line just kind of like just snaking out of the Ontario Convention Center. And remember when I talked about that dry desert heat? Yeah, attendees were standing in that dry desert heat for up to 3 hours. I actually do have a friend who went to AniManga on Sunday, and he said he was standing in line for 3 hours to get in. I think the longest I ever had to wait to get into anything was like 5 hours for like this sale, and we were waiting in the sun, and I was out in Burbank. Never again. So, Horror Story of AniManga 2021, lined up wrapped around literally the entire convention center, 3+ hours in the 100 degrees. Ouch. Also, the other takeaway from this video is people were passing out from the heat. So they're right by the doors. There was an EMT waiting area where attendees just needed to just have a place to chill before EMT picks them up. And I'm like, whoa. And then I was also reading on social media at around Saturday late afternoon-ish, about 8 attendees were taken out for heat stroke. About 8 ambulances showed up and 1 fire truck showed up. Okay, let's see in the chat. Hey, it's DJ Rama. Tea time and popcorn. Yeah, be aware of space requirements for various sellers and offer options for creators, swap meet, and vendors. It looks like AniManga is trying to be a chain of conventions like Wizard World and Fan Expo. Those never work. Yes, I've seen like people do the. I think I remember like hearing it from my older like Gen X elders in the geek sphere. That like there was a company called like Creation Cons, and doing all these like Twilight cons like scattered throughout the country, and those didn't turn out quite well. So like yeah, anytime I'm just seeing like all these startup like traveling conventions, I get kind of like that's a red flag. I'm not even to Twilight either. I was just kind of intrigued by the cluster F those turned out to be. Yeah. I'm a desert dweller, and I'm like, nope, even 80 degrees under sun is bad. Yeah, like even I have a collection of parasols, both Lolita and both Victorian, steampunk-esque style, and I'm like, yeah, sunny heat's not cool. No pun intended. Alright, and this is also came off of Twitter. They also turned the AC off on both sides. Ouch. People fainted, including a child. AniManga does not care about their attendees, artists, exhibitors, and even their own staff. Only their profits. And this kind of also from the same Twitter posting, where you can see just how cramped tables were and how you didn't have like a lot of space like back out your chairs out of. Like, I'm also wondering, like, let's say I want to get like, I don't know, like something from Okamoto Kitchen in the food truck section. How would I get out? Would I just like sneak under the table and just kind of like mouse my way out? And these posts have come off Instagram. Excuse me. Of course, just having some tea just kind of gives you a little bit more. Yeah, I won't read through all of them, but I'll just kind of leave them up, so I'll just read the last one. Here for the comments, because we're pissed AF. It's hot AF. We've been waiting 3+ hours in the sun, and we're not even close. Want a refund? This is absolutely ridiculous. I've seen some people say, like, hey, talk to your bank. Maybe you can see if you could get a chargeback, because as of, I think, June 30th, they were like July 30th, they were considering doing refunds. Nothing has been confirmed as of this stream, but others have suggested to check your bank account to see if you could do a chargeback. However, there were attendees who had their tickets rolled over to 2021, originally for 2020 previously. And for chargebacks, a lot of times it's about 120 days at the from the point of your account being charged. And even if it was purchased within the 120 days, it still does not guarantee that you'll get a charge back. So just kind of important information to know. And also, I'm the type of person, like, I just don't really have a lot of time of the day to get on the phone with my bank because I work a 9-to-5 job. I still even have to find time to, like, schedule a dental appointment. This one I will read. Important caption for SoCal Con goers. Sorry you guys didn't see us today at AniManga. There's no way in hell we're going to wait in that line. I wouldn't wait in that line either. If you didn't see on my story, I have never been to a more poorly managed con in my life. From what I've heard, I've seen 8 people who were sent to the hospital with symptoms of heat stroke that also paid for badges and were denied entry, but due to reaching capacity while badges were still being sold inside. Absolutely unbelievable. AniManga USA, get your ish together and do us a favor by paying attention to complaints and work on bettering yourselves or shut down. Do not attend this con. Yeah, let's also keep in mind for those of you just tuning in midway towards the stream that they are planning to have events in Atlanta and Miami. So it's good to know to let your friends in those respective areas know, like, yeah, you might want to avoid this con. And this was a Instagram story that just popped up on Facebook that's also going viral in the Facebook sphere. LOL, hearing about AniManga. So you're saying this is a transphobic, misogynist, and anti-mask POS who wasn't actually fired, let people get heat strokes, unforced masks, turn off the AC, ban outside food, block water fountains, only had one entrance for both new and returning guests, and didn't social distance the artist alley booths. I would comment on their Twitter and IG, but they're cleaning the comments and blocking people because they can't take valid criticism for their obviously poopy for-profit con job. Yeah, and I think a lot of people who were like going to the convention, they didn't know, because I don't know how far that one tweet was able to reach out to people outing him as a transphobe and misogynist. I don't know how far that went out, but it had this weekend. Seeing those tweets resurface had to remind me why I initially did not want to support them, because I actually do remember I had a friend who wanted me to cosplay as Relina to his hero for like Gundam Wing Good Times, which I'm still down for. Other cons pending. But I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to AniManga because of XYZ. And yeah. Because I honestly don't know how the original thread about the organizer, how viral it went, because I don't know if the people who bought money, who were at the door, who were in line, who bought tickets were aware. Because I never know, like, who knows what, you know? And also, my friend also made a great point. There are people who already bought tickets, and they didn't know until after they bought tickets about the chair himself. And my friend, they're in their, they're like in their 20s, and I know what it was like being a broke college student in my late teens, early 20s, and $25, still a huge deal. $50 is a huge deal. The price of the con was about $25 for one day, and I believe $50 for the weekend, and that is dropping a lot of money. So there's also that kind of like confusion. They're like, do we blow to 50 and it's no guarantee that we can get our money back. Because I was reading somewhere that they weren't allowing refunds. All right, let's take a look in the chat. Now, I'd rather choose a smaller one-day con based at the library. Yeah, libraries have books and they have air conditioning. It'll be hard to get a refund on this. It's like intangible goods. Yeah, I remember reading somewhere that the tickets were non-refundable, and for people to do a chargeback, like I said before, the purchase has to be made within it has to be done within 120 days of the purchase, but even then, it doesn't guarantee that you'll get you'll have your charge the charges rescinded. And it looks like AniManga wants to do the refunds, but I'm like, not sure if that'll go through. As of this stream, that's what I've been hearing. Things could obviously change. Yeah, come out to Little Tokyo. We'll have ramen. Alright, this is another Instagram story that came up here. And at AniManga USA, you mailed out the badges so everyone could wait in the same line. You gave the Ontario Convention Center, you have the Ontario Convention Center, so you could open one door in and out. You have no shade, no water, no outside food and drink. Your marketing director is a POS, and you're wholeheartedly a disappointment of a con. Yeah, as you can see, if you look at the photo carefully, you can see the ambulance in the background, and you can see like just people just kind of surrounding the ambulance. And this was like the one thing that was the Instagram story that was very telling, and just kind of what I needed to know, what was going on. So, just had to gather all the ways I know right now that AniManga USA is trash. Said masks would be required. Staff wasn't wearing masks. Okay, again, just going back to earlier in this presentation about like the mask policy. So they were breaking their own rules. No peace bonding or prop check. Oof. So I could go in and bring my C-lot knives, and that wouldn't be an issue. I don't have C-lot knives, but I do have a birthday coming up. Hint. Overbooked, something like 2,000 attendee, but clearly there were more than that. Yeah, from what I was reading, from what I was just seeing in photos, it looks like they were still selling tickets at the door, and they were still trying to like just get as many people into the convention center. And also, from what I've been reading, is they only use the exhibitor space. They didn't use the upstairs or like the downstairs meeting rooms. Panels were literally in the exhibitor show space, and it looks like they only had the panels were just guest Q&A, and they had like local voice actors come in to do just maybe like 1 or 2 panels per day, and those were located in the exhibitor space. And like I just never liked that setup. I've been to a few cons where they have the panels in the exhibitor space. I'm like, yeah, not a huge fan of that format. I just prefer going into a meeting room. Less distraction, less noise. Stapled Artist Alley tables together. Yes, we saw the photos earlier, just kind of seeing just how crammed the Artist Alley was. Related for, not accessible to those with wheelchairs. Yeah, accessibility at cons has been a problem, and I'm glad that I'm going to Otakon and they have like an accessibility page, because I know my partner needs one, not for wheelchair reasons, but because for visual impairment reasons, because sometimes it's just really hard to navigate solo when your vision is not quite at 20/20. But the whole accessibility things with cons, it's not just for AniManga in general, AniManga, but I feel that goes for all cons. But just seeing just how cramped, and just knowing that they only were working with that exhibitor space, that makes things really problematic. And again, 6, put Arts Alley Dealers Hall and all panels in the same room because they couldn't afford to book the entire con center. Yeah, because when I was reading about that, I'm like, oh, really? Related 6, overcrowding galore. Yeah, even like putting like your cap number of people that you were thinking about having in there, in that, and again, the convention center is not a completely huge convention center. It is like a medium-sized like event space. Like, this is out in the desert. This is not by any major metropolitan city. If you wanted to go to civilization, well, it kind of is civilization, but if you wanted to go to like a major city, LA is like an hour-ish drive, and Disneyland is another hour-ish drive. blocking anyone who criticizes them when they clearly need criticism. I think they meant to type in criticism, but yeah, autocorrect happens. Yeah, silencing people because, yeah, that's pretty dumb, because I've known, because a lot of times I will voice grievances with a con. I'll be very constructive about it. And yeah, just silencing like paying customers, yeah, not good. That doesn't look good on y'all. Huge lines outside with no shade in the summer. Yeah, we definitely covered through that point. Again, 100+ degrees, desert, dry heat, not cool. No pun intended. No water stations for those people in line. However, I did see people volunteer to like pass out water, which is very generous of them. But if you know you're having an event in the summer and you're having people wait in line outside for whatever reason, definitely have someone like pass out like water. Like just have like igloo stations and just put some water in there. Said they require masks and aren't requiring masks at all. Yeah, I've been seeing photos of like people not masking up and just kind of like, and it doesn't look like anything was enforced. But when you have your people, your top people, not masking up, what example does that have? And when AniManga was happening, the CDC recommended that people mask up indoors regardless of vaccination status. Conclusion is, well, I can't really curse. AniManga, and no one give them money ever again. Like, yeah, I have no intention to go. And tiny text. Yeah, I just wanted to share what was going on with AniManga, because I had a couple people just curious on what's been going out here on the West Coast. Just thought I'd just kind of fill you in. Even though I didn't attend AniManga, but just seeing like just the tweets and just kind of like how people are talking about, like, yeah, this is not a good con, folks. Like, I doubt they'll return next year because of all the noise that's been going on in social media. But I really wish a lot more noise was made when the organizer, the head person, was making misogynistic and transphobic tweets. That's already enough for me to like, okay, nope. Southern California has like so many cons already. Like between even now and at the end of the year, we have, I believe Sci-Fi Coalition is doing a one-dayer in Escondido. And in December alone, there's already 3 cons that are going back-to-back against each other. So that's Comic-Con LA, Anime Pasadena, and Comic-Con Revolution, also coincidentally taking place at the Ontario Convention Center. And even then, like, not sure if I feel like going to a convention in general in December, because usually December is like my time to like think about the holidays and to avoid people, because people always invite me to holiday parties. Like, yeah, not really. And I always try to find for excuses to leave the country. And I did one year. The holidays in Germany, it's the best. If you can afford it, do the holidays in Germany. Like, I generally don't like the holidays in the U.S. because it just feels so commercialized. But there's the holidays in Europe just hits differently. It's like, ooh, warm, fuzzy fuzz feelings. The actual feelings I should be feeling during the holidays. I mean, granted, there are a lot of other cons that are going on that you can like give time to, like Anna Marketplace, which is happening in October, early October. And they're good people, and we actually have a rep in the chat if you want to just chit-chat with them and get to know more about Anime Marketplace. They've been doing virtual events throughout the year. They've been highlighting local artists. So, like, they kind of been, like, doing, like, this... It's pretty neat, like... They've been doing, like... If any of you remember, like, Home Shopping Network or, like, Antiques Roadshow, they would do, like, 1-hour Q&As, and the artists would, like, just kind of, like, show off what they're selling. So it's kind of, like, almost like Home Shopping Network or Antiques Roadshow, but Artist Alley. And I thought that was just pretty neat, something that they were doing. And they were also highlighting, like, people who play anime music. So we have Flatus Acacia do a set on her flute. We have Zeta Flare do like a set on his keyboard. So I thought it was cool, like just seeing like just the different multitudes of talent that we have here in Southern California. But Southern California, we have so many events already going on throughout the year, and realistically, even as someone depressed who gets their badge comped, I can't do them all. I like to have certain weekends available where I'm just not doing anything. I want to have certain weekends where I have time to myself, or weekends after a convention where I just want to recover. And I really think that Southern California, I've been saying this for a while, has been oversaturated with all these different cons, be it comic cons, anime cons, and a lot of these just tend to like just come and go. I mean, I will support like a one-day college con that's just trying to make it, because I always like helping out at like ZotCon, CoastCon, because those are run by good people, the future of people who want to run anime conventions, and it comes from a good place. Like, yeah, we're a college club that wants to host an event. I've been there before. I was vice president of my anime club. And I really think it's just kind of important, like, yeah, it's okay not to go to a convention because you don't like what the con chair or like one of their con reps has to say about your people or people that you care about, because like I'm not supporting that kind of con. I mean, now that I know, I can tell people like, hey, this convention is kind of sketchy. They don't know their audience. I know that the anime scene has changed pretty drastically, and the demographics have shifted. But for me personally, going to anime cons as a bi teen, as a queer teen, I felt like, yeah, these are my people, and I felt like, hey, I can be myself. Woo! And just to have like just someone who's spearheading a convention with those mentality, like, yeah, you don't know your audience, get out of here. It was funny because I remember going to a comic convention, and they had like an LGBTQ cosplayer panel. They were all like, hey, there's not a lot of LGBTQ. I was about to say LBBGs. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of BJs. There's not a lot of queer cosplayers. Where are they at? I'm like, y'all need to go to an anime con. Just go to like any anime sports cosplay gatherings, anime cosplay photo shoots that involve like a sports anime. Over there. Let's just take a look at what's going on in the chat. Alright, we have Hiro Yui here. I'm costing as Merlina this weekend. Yep. Anime Place, they can definitely take your questions about their event here. Told you we got a rep here. Yeah, Casey and Zeta Flare, they're good people. Yeah, here's our socials. If you're not following us already, we have Twitch affiliate status. Yay! Like I said, I'm going to get some emotes made, and I'll probably just get some things to make this channel look prettier now that I can get paid to just talk about stuff. This is so cooler than YouTube. But yeah, just in conclusion, just be aware about who's running the convention, and it's okay to just make folks aware, like, if this is what the people who are running the things that you want to attend and hang out with your friends feel, I don't want to give them my money. I don't want to give them my time. I don't want to give them my publicity. And I think it's also wise to just kind of keep track, because there's so many of these, I call this geek gentrification almost. You have like this entity outside of the geek sphere, whether it be comics, movies, or even anime, especially anime, that just kind of come in and it's like, hey, here's a market that we can capitalize on. Let's do this convention thing and just make money off of it. I just never liked that model of business, because I know like it has hit us into Southern California on such a large scale. There was an example. There was this bar that did like Harry Potter night, and me and my friends like, cool, Harry Potter, awesome. Let's go to Harry Potter night and blah 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 blah. Because like, yeah, there's the Harry Potter vintage like fashion show like that I was personally asked to be a part of. Artists, they have like an artist alley type of thing. They have like a Hogwarts Comedy Club. Like, yeah, this is so cool, but we showed up. We were like the only dorks in uniform, and they were playing trap music the whole night. This wasn't our place. We didn't feel welcome here. And like, hey, what's going on? Did you just like slap like Harry Potter to like a college night? Because this made us just feel awkward. So yeah, I'm always very wary about like geek gentrified spaces. And call me a gatekeeper, I don't care, but you need to admit to yourself that geek gentrification is happening and has been happening, and the only way to like stop geek gentrification from like occurring is stop supporting events like that capitalize on nerd culture, that come from a place that just wants your money and just wants your wallet. Because I like to go to places where I like to go to events where it's by fans for fans. And that's one of the reasons why I'm supporting Otakon this weekend. Because I've known like a lot of people who staff Otakon, who run Otakon, and when I heard that this might be the last year, and looks like it's not, thank goodness, I wanted to be there to support them. And that's part of the reasons why I'm still active with a lot of the old school like anime con people out there, because these people, they know their ish. And I've been very well connected with them like since the days when I was doing press in the mid-2000s. And I'm always happy to help out like people like at a marketplace here, because I know when they run an event, it comes from a good place. It comes from the heart. It comes from the heart of a fan. And it was cool that when we went to Vegas at one time too. We all good friends here. So I think I'm going to close out the stream, since I probably would just go for like less than an hour here. So closing remarks, said my piece. We'll probably be online to probably do like just a quick live stream from our hotel at Otakon, perhaps Thursday. We might have special guest Pocky Princess Darcy. I don't know. Let's see if she feels like being on camera. And of course, we'll have a couple of episodes about Otakon following our time at the convention, and I'll probably talk a little bit about Nisei Week, because I always like going out to support Nisei Week. I've been invited to represent the cosplay community officially for their Nisei Week of festivities. So I'm really looking forward to attending that as a I don't want to use the word guest, but I think representative, ambassador-ish. Representative. Yeah, representative. I'd be represented. For Nisei Week on behalf of the cosplay community. So, yeah. That's just been the stream. Let's just take a look at the comments. Yeah, frat black culture, trap music. Nah, I'm good. Yep, I was talking to this gentleman who runs a Harry Potter store in Boston. I was telling the horror story that was like, and this gentleman, this shopkeeper, he was just like, this is the music I would play. And I didn't like I went to their Hogwarts Comedy Club, and basically they were just making fun of 45. Now, I don't like 45, if you catch my drift. I don't like the Angry Orange. I'm not a huge fan of chimpanzees either. We all know what I'm talking about. I want to go to this Harry Potter event to have like Harry Potter themed comedy. I don't need to be reminded of the real world. I have my friends, I have my memes if we want to poke fun at 45. I don't need to hear it at this event that's supposed to be immersive. You're supposed to think that you're in Hogwarts, or at least that's how it was advertised. So I just didn't really care about like 45 and Yo Mama jokes from the early 90s. Said by like, hello fellow kids type of comedians. Haha, thank you so much. You're gonna make us blush. Aw, you guys are awesome. But in all honesty, thank you so much for reporting and talking with us anytime. Well, I'll be skipping that. Yeah, something about me, I like reading chat quotes in funny voices, because that's just how I roll. Anywho, glad y'all tuned in. I wanted to talk about this. in the future, I might be talking more about, like, convention stuff and things. Because I know, like, this stuff is very important to talk about. And, like, yeah, let's just spill the tea. And remember, con's what you make of it. Make it a good one. Stay safe and party on, dudes. From the safety of your homes.